Hi, hello everyone! I'm Toshi from Japan and tourist guide for foreigners. In this video, I'll show you 10 ways tourists keep wasting money in Japan.
Many travelers dream of visiting Japan, but once they arrive, they often end up spending more money than necessary. As someone living in Japan, who regularly guides foreign friends and tourists, I've seen firsthand how easily visitors can waste money on things that locals typically avoid. In this video, I'm going to share with you the top 10 ways tourists often waste money in Japan. By watching this, you'll learn how to enjoy your trip to Japan more affordably and comfortably. So, stay tuned until the end.
So, let's get started. Number 1. Ordering a la carte at lunchtime.
In many Japanese restaurants, lunch is the time to get the best deals. For around 1,000 yen, you can enjoy set menus that offer great value. While some a la carte dishes might be discounted at lunch, many restaurants create special lunch menus that you won't find at dinner, and they're often about 30% cheaper. The idea is to attract customers during lunchtime, hoping they'll come back for a more expensive dinner. So, if you order a la carte at lunch, you might end up spending more than you need to.
Keep this in mind and take advantage of these lunch deals to enjoy Japanese cuisine affordably during your trip. Number 2. Ordering normally at izakaya.
In Japan, there are some great ways to enjoy drinks without spending too much, but many tourists don't know about them. For example, Nomihaure is an all-you-can-drink deal where you pay a set price and drink as much as you want for a couple of hours. Senburo refers to spots where you can get drinks and snacks for just 1,000 yen. And kakuuchi is when you drink right at a liquor store, often at a really low price. If you order drinks individually at places that offer these kinds of deals, you'll end up paying a lot more. For instance, my friend from Korea, who can really handle his drinks, paid just 1,000 yen for an all-you-can-drink deal and managed to have 8 drinks talk about getting your money's worth. By knowing about these options, you can enjoy Japan's nightlife without overspending.
I covered these tips in more detail in a previous video, so be sure to check that out. Number 3. Using taxi.
While taxis are a common mode of transportation worldwide, they can be quite expensive in Japan compared to public transit. For example, a taxi ride from Narita Airport to central Tokyo can cost around 25,000 yen, which can be a shock when you consider the overall cost of living in Japan. One of my friends from the US took a taxi from Narita to Tokyo, expecting it to be similar in cost to other Asian countries, and ended up regretting it. Unfortunately, due to legal restrictions, Uber is not available in Japan, so taxis might seem like the only option for travelers. However, before taking a taxi, it's always a good idea to check if there's a more affordable alternative, like public transportation, especially for longer distances.
I hope your trip to Japan is comfortable and affordable. Number 4. Not using tax exemption system.
When I lived in the US, I used Japan's tax-free shopping system as a non-resident to save on purchases. Japan's consumption tax is 10%, so by using this system, you can shop 10% cheaper. However, many foreigners don't know about this benefit or aren't sure how to use it. Here are 5 key points to remember. First, make sure to get an entry stamp in your passport when you arrive in Japan. With automated dates becoming more common, it's easy to forget this. Second, shop at tax-free stores like Don Quixote, Yodobashi Camera, or Uniqlo, which cater to tourists. Third, you need to purchase eligible items. There are 2 categories: general goods like electronics and bags, and consumables like food, alcohol, medicine, and cosmetics. Fourth, your total purchase must be between 5,000 yen and 500,000 yen in a single day. Finally, keep your items sealed and unopened until you leave Japan. If you use or consume them before departure, you'll lose the tax exemption.
Lastly, always check the latest rules on the Japanese government's website before you shop. Number 5. Using Japan Rail Pass.
As you might already know, the Japan Rail Pass saw a significant price hike in October 2023, increasing by about 1.6 times its original cost. This has left many travelers wondering, is it still worth it? The short answer is, if you're just planning to visit the popular Golden Route Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and Hiroshima, it's probably not. In fact, the Japan Rail Pass could cost you about twice as much as buying regular tickets for these routes. However, I've seen many travelers still purchasing the pass for this route. While it can be a good deal if you're planning to travel to other regions like Kyushu or Tohoku, it's unnecessary for the Golden Route alone. So, it's important to consider your travel itinerary before deciding whether to buy it.
For a detailed breakdown of cost and route comparisons, be sure to check out my previous video. Number 6. Keeping coins.
Japan is gradually shifting towards a cashless society, but there are still many places where cash is king. As I mentioned in a previous video, it's important to always have some cash on hand when traveling in Japan. Fortunately, you can easily exchange foreign currency for yen at many exchange counters at airports and around the city. However, many of these places don't accept coins for re-exchange. So, if you're left with coins instead of bills, you won't be able to convert them back when you leave Japan. For this reason, many travelers are unable to exchange money at the airport when leaving Japan and end up spending it using gachapon machines. To avoid this, try to minimize the amount of coins you collect during your trip. Instead, use a credit card or an IC card like Suica for payments whenever possible.
But remember, having cash is still essential in Japan, so check out my previous video for tips on getting and managing Japanese yen. Number 7. Donating to street monks.
You might come across someone dressed as a monk on the street, asking for donations. They often claim it's for religious or temple-related purposes and may show you a book with a list of names and donation amounts to make their story seem credible. However, those names and amounts are likely fake, and the money you give will just end up in their pockets. These people are not real monks. They're running a scam that targets foreign tourists, especially those unfamiliar with Japan's temple culture. A friend of mine from the US was also tricked into donating. I've personally seen this scam in places like Ueno in Tokyo and Kamakura in Kanagawa Prefecture. To protect yourself, I recommend avoiding any donations to these individuals. If you truly want to support a temple or religious cause, it's best to visit an established temple and donate there.
For more on other scams to watch out for, check out my previous video. Number 8. Giving tip.
In many countries around the world, tipping is a common practice. Whether at restaurants, hotels, or other services, it's customary to leave a tip as a sign of appreciation. However, Japan doesn't have a tipping culture, which might be a pleasant surprise for travelers. This means you don't need to worry about calculating tips during your trip to Japan. In fact, if you do leave a tip, the person you give it to won't be able to keep it. Unfortunately, it will just be added to the restaurant's revenue. I learned this firsthand while working part-time at a restaurant during my college years.
So embrace Japan's no tipping culture and enjoy your travel without the stress of tipping. Number 9. Shopping at convenience store.
Japan has around 50,000 convenience stores, which you can find almost everywhere. They offer a wide variety of products and are incredibly convenient. So it's no surprise that many tourists, like my American friend, who went to 7-Eleven for almost every meal, use them frequently. However, it's important to note that convenience stores are more expensive than supermarkets. On average, the same items cost about 30% more. That's why I recommend checking out My Basket. It's a supermarket chain similar in size to convenience stores, but with prices more comparable to larger supermarkets. They target single-person households in Tokyo, so you'll find them all over the city.
If you are looking to save money while traveling in Japan, shopping at My Basket is a great way to do so. Give it a try. Number 10. Exchanging money at airport or hotel.
As I mentioned in Chapter 6, while Japan is moving toward a cashless culture, there are still many places where cash is king. It's essential to have cash on hand during your trip. However, Exchanging money at airports or hotels usually gives you a much worse rate compared to currency exchange offices in the city. For example, a friend of mine from the US exchanged all of his budgeted money at the airport upon arrival and regretted it afterward. My advice is to only exchange a small amount at the airport, around 5,000 yen per person, which should be enough to get you started. Also, using ATM for cash withdrawals generally offers a more consistent rate and fee no matter where you are. Keep these tips in mind and enjoy your trip to Japan without breaking the bank.
How was 10 ways tourists keep wasting money in Japan? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like button. See you in my next video. Bye!